Okay, good morning, and thank you all for joining us. As usual, we open up with a statement from Coach Shaw. I ask that you please leave your lines muted until called upon to ask a question. If you would like to ask a question, please use the raise hand function through Zoom. Go ahead, Coach.
Good morning, everyone. On the injury front, we have a few guys that are questionable. Elijah Higgins and John Humphreys questionable again. Kendall Williamson questionable. EJ Smith questionable. Tanner McKee borderline questionable, doubtful. It's kind of made a bit of a turn, but we'll see where he is at the end of the week. We'll see what the next couple of days hold. If he can practice by tomorrow, may have a shot. We'll see. If Tanner can't play, Ari Patu will start for us. Still potentially anticipate seeing Isaiah Sanders in there. Multiple roles that he has on offense as well as on special teams. Out this week will be Stephen Herron and Caillou Kelly. Casey Filkins will be out again this week. As for the game, really kind of as for the last month of the season, it's been a tough stretch. Yeah, it's been very difficult. A lot of things have happened. We haven't played our best football by any stretch of the imagination. Had a short week, really good game against Arizona State. They played better. They gained some separation late in that game. Had a chance, didn't make enough plays. Had a couple of fluke plays that they took advantage of, not taking anything away from Arizona State. Played really well. And then back-to-back games that we had. Forget about the stats, forget about everything else. Back-to-back games that we had a chance to close the game on offense, close the game on special teams, close the game on defense. And we went 0-for-3 in both those games. So those are the 3 losses in a row. And then short week against a healthy and a very good Utah football team that's been gaining momentum really for the last few weeks. And, they caught us with our starting quarterback. Elijah couldn't go. And then we didn't play well. Injuries are never the excuse, but we didn't play well. And, we had 2 teams look like they're going in opposite directions. Now, we've had tough stretches before, difficult stretches before. I'm not going to say this is anything other than it is, which is, hey, it's a tough stretch. It's tough 4 weeks in a row here. What I know, being around this game my entire life, sometimes you just got to put your foot in the sand, try to stop the momentum going the wrong way and get it going back the positive way. And the only few ways I know how to do that is lean on the people that we have here, not point fingers. All the fingers point at me, and I'm fine with that. I accepted that when I became the starting head football coach here. I said it many times to people, you don't become a head coach to escape criticism. You become a head coach to accept criticism, even when you win. So I'm not going to worry about, swirling things that people say. That's great. That comes with the territory. And what I know is that we got a hell of a football team that has not played well. And that's our job, is to get these guys to play well, put them in position so they can be successful. We've made some significant adjustments to some of the things that we're doing, many of which I will not share with you now. But talking to a couple of guys on our team, talking to multiple staff members, feel like we've made some positive changes, some things that we feel really good about. And hopefully we get our starting quarterback back. If not, feel great about Ari going in there playing. Hopefully we get John Humphreys and Elijah Higgins back. If not, we've got guys that step in. It's great to have Mike out there. Mike made his presence felt. Bryce has been out there playing well. We've gotten good play from multiple guys. So guys will step up. I'm not worried about that. We got to put our foot in the sand, stop the momentum that's going negative on us, get it going in a positive way. And like what I saw last night from our football team, and get 2 more good days of practice with some of the adjustments that we're making, and get ready to go up to Oregon State, play a very good football team, and try to find a way to win. Ready for questions?
Just a reminder, if you'd like to ask a question, please use the raise hand function. Our first question will come from Troy Clarity of TreeCast.
Hey, Coach. What are some of the things that you've seen from Ari Patu throughout the course of the season, his development, and some things that have led him into this potential opportunity this week?
Well, the thing with Ari that's really interesting for me is that, right, he's relatively local California kid, so he didn't get a chance to play his fall senior season, got pushed to the spring, but then he was one of our first 2 early enrollees, so he didn't get a chance to really play at all his senior year. Because I anticipated when he got a chance to play, he was going to rise up in the rankings. 6'3 plus, quick release, strong arm, athletic, great leader. We saw all that early on in his career, and I'm excited to get him here. And now he's got a great opportunity. But the opportunity is still there if Tanner can't go, right? And we'll see where Tanner is later in the week. But we always believe that Ari's got the chance to be a pretty special football player. And this week may be his opportunity.
Our next question will come from Dave Kiefer.
Yeah, hi, Coach. Just if Ari does get the start, what would you expect from him?
Well, I talked to him the other day, and we're going to run our offense. There's no baby version of this thing. He's very smart. Now we're not going to put a ton of things on his plate that he's not comfortable with. It's all about what he's comfortable with. We need to run the ball with more efficiency, but at the same time, we're going to drop back and throw the ball. We've got difference makers on the outside. We've got one of the best tight ends in America working on the inside. So hopefully we get a couple more guys back, but even if we don't, the same crew that played last week, we'll put those guys out there and feel great about what they can do. We got to be able to protect better than we did last week. Got to be able to make the throws that we didn't make last week, but make some of the catches we didn't make last week. And if we can create some momentum to get this back in the winning column. And the thing that I won't lose sight of, which many people outside that might, that's fine. We've played some really, really good football this year. Couple games, SC and Oregon in particular, where we're able to play and finish games the way we want to finish them. So that's still there. I'm not going to pretend that disappeared. I used to hate this saying, but I understand it, right? Coaches didn't forget how to coach and players didn't forget how to play. There are things that we have not done well, things that we can do better. But the bottom line for us is to create that positive momentum, start making some plays, get to that fourth quarter, and then finish.
We'll now go to Steve Croner from SF Chronicle.
A few questions. One, specifically, if Ari is going to play again, kind of like last week, do you have a specific timetable where you'd like to have it decided one way or the other with Tanner, or could you go to 2:30 in the afternoon on Saturday without making that decision?
When you're dealing with an injury in particular that is significant enough to keep somebody out the week before, protect in particular quarterback, and there's so much timing and there's so much going on. It depends on if Tanner can do something full speed. If he can do something full speed in our Friday run through, then that's a call I got to make. If he can do something full speed before that and feel great about it, then I'd feel great about declaring him as a starter and going full bore. If there's any hesitances or any inconsistency in his ability to, first and foremost, protect himself, second of all, be able to play at a high level, then he just won't play. I've told our guys repeatedly over time, they came to Stanford because they're long-term thinkers. They want to play great football and then let Stanford work for them the rest of their lives down the road. So we're going to do the same thing on the football side. We're not going to make short-sighted decisions that put guys in jeopardy. If he's ready to play and protect himself and play at a high level, then he'll go out there. If there's any indecision of whether or not he can't, then he won't play.
And on a different subject, you mentioned in your introductory statement about, point the fingers at me. We're not pointing fingers at anybody else. You've seen throughout college football through the Pac-12 in the last week or two, some coaches have dismissed their assistant coaches. In fact, you're playing one team that has done that, obviously, on Saturday. I take it as a head coach and somebody who has a pretty good feel for the profession. That's not something that you are in favor of doing during the season.
Yeah, particular for me, I'm not in favor of doing that. And I'm a coach's kid. I've been around this thing my entire life, and I don't want to disrespect anybody else's process. Other people can do the things that they think are best for them and their organization. For me, I look at it being up to me, right? If something's not going on, then I have to address it. If something's going on, then I have to change it. I have to try to make it better. It's really easy to point the fingers at somebody as you push them out the door. But then what have you changed, right? So for me, it's about us getting back to the way that we played earlier in the year. That we played some very good football. We've battled a lot of injuries. We've battled a lot of other circumstances. And that's part of it. The whole idea is that when you win a game and you push yourself to that point where you're better than you were before, that satisfaction is immeasurable and really not really understandable by those people outside of your own program. So we're in a tough spot right now. And when you're in a tough spot, to me, you pull everybody closer. You don't push people away. We've got great people here on staff. We have great student athletes. And we're pulling together to try to get the best out of this group and get back in the win column and start some momentum. Because I truly believe when this team feels some momentum and can really get back to the way we were playing earlier in the year, we could have some fun these last 3 weeks of the regular season.
Thank you.
We'll go back to Dave Kiefer.
Yeah, hi, Coach. Some of the players' comments in the past couple of weeks have mentioned about we need to be more physical. Is physicality, is that a factor? And also, is that like a mental thing, or is it maybe a way that you guys play and aggressiveness? I'm curious if that's something that can be like addressed from, say, a week to week type thing.
Yeah, I think it's partially all of that. And one thing I will mention today, which I've talked to other guys around the country, and I think that's something that we all always need to do, is see what other people are doing, get advice from other people, and be able to grow and change. We're going to do a little bit more ones versus ones tonight. Not going to sacrifice the game plan part of it, but be a little bit more physical with each other. I'm not going to go live, but we're going to have our ones go against ones, during our little run period, fit some things up, get some push, go against each other so we can feel good versus good early in the week. I think that may help a little bit as well. It's also a mentality. It's also a consistency thing. And I look at that game Friday night. It was hard to watch because it wasn't not just our worst game. It wasn't as good as it was as we played 6 days before, or 7 days before that. So it wasn't like all of a sudden everything's fallen off that we can't play anymore. We had a bad day. We had a flat out bad day, and we can be much better. And that's our charge, to be better. But not just to say we're going to be better and go back and do the same things. That doesn't make any sense. So we're tweaking and changing some things in order to get that better play that we're capable of up against Oregon State.
Our next question will come from Ben Parker of Rivals.
Yeah, just on Oregon State, what have you seen from them, and what do you guys have to change and do better in order to beat those guys? What's kind of their main? Yeah, what have you seen from them? Yeah,
I mean, honestly, it's those of you that watched our conference over the last 8 weeks, they're like everybody else. They're like all of us. There are games you turn on and they are dominant, right? They've run the ball up and down on people. They've made big plays in the passing game on everybody. They've had some dominating defensive performances, and then they've had some that are not. So I think it's one of those things where we'll see which Stanford team shows up. We'll see which Oregon State team shows up. One thing I can tell you, because it seems to be exactly what happens every single time we play Oregon State, it's probably going to be a one-score game in the fourth quarter, and we'll see who can finish it on top. But what I see from them is I have all the respect in the world for Jonathan Smith. I've said it since the day he was hired, that he was going to bring up Oregon State, and he really has. He's done a heck of a job. They know how to attack you on offense. The combination of run and movements and play actions and fly sweeps and screens, and it's just a bunch to just make you move in a bunch of directions. They do a great job there. On the defensive side, they have quickness, they have athleticism, they have funky little ways of doing things, getting guys to places. So they challenge you, and hopefully we're up to that challenge this Saturday.
We'll go back to Dave Kiefer.
Yeah, just about Oregon State again, a couple kind of interesting streaks. So this is the third straight year you're going to be in Corvallis. And also, I think you have an 11-game winning streak against Oregon State, yet a lot of those games have been crazy and come right down to the wire, and some, Keller Chris throwing a, touchdown pass or a fumble late in the game or whatever it is. It's kind of an odd series. And I think it's interesting the fact that you're going to be up there for the third year in a row also.
Yeah, it's partially because of the job they've done up there. I think they've recruited well, recruited what they do. They've got quickness, but more importantly, you got two teams that fight. A lot of effort, a lot of energy, a lot of playmakers, and pretty evenly matched. So that's what I anticipate being in the fourth quarter, being in a tight one-score game, and hopefully we're the ones that find enough ways to make some plays to come out on top.
Go ahead, Troy.
Yeah, Coach, you've hinted at this. Not sure how much detail you can share with us, but I'll give it a shot anyway. Solutions, as far as solutions that can be implemented for this week, for the remainder of the season, and maybe some solutions that might have to wait until the upcoming off season as you try to settle things down a bit.
Yeah, we're not really worried about the off season right now. We're really focused on this week and find a way to win a game. That's it. Those of us that are competitive, those of us that are in this sport because we love it. There's nothing like, I tell you, my favorite feeling in sports is a victorious locker room. It's not just on the field, but it's being able to go back in that locker room after the game and have those guys that work so hard all week celebrate. And it's been a long time for us. Feels like forever. And we want that feeling. So we got a bunch of hungry guys in our locker room, got a bunch of guys that are willing to work, a bunch of guys that are, someone hopefully trying to get healthy. And if they can't, they're going to root their teammates on. But the bottom line for us is to get back to work and make some adjustments and play with those adjustments and play well, play fast, play well, play with no hesitation, play with great effort, and find a way to pull this thing out.
You mentioned Kai Blue Kelly is out for this week. Is that something that could potentially last beyond this week?
I don't think so. I think it's probably be a 1 week thing, but as I said before, we're going to make long-term decisions. Every single human being on this football team, I care about them and their health. So we're not going to jeopardize anybody's health and make bad decisions for them. So he's out for a week, most likely just a week. If it lingers, then we'll have that conversation later. But I feel like this is a short-term thing. Hopefully we'll be back next week.
Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah. How much of this is mental? I mean, and what I mean by that is how much of it, well, obviously you've had injuries, that's played a huge toll, obviously, but any kind of feeling of we just get a win mentally that could shift things and change things for you guys, just getting one win kind of sparks something new?
Yeah. Team psychology is one of the most interesting aspects of all team sports. It's one of those things that you can't quantify. It's one of those things that you can't fake it either. There is a mentality that we've been on both sides of, which is, I don't know, for probably about 8 years, we're the best teams in America in close games in the fourth quarter. One of the best, if not the best, over like an 8-year span. And this year, man, it's been tough for us. We find a way to get close. We find a way to take a lead, and then we can't put it away. But then again, you go back and look at the Oregon game. Came back, tight game, made all the plays we needed to make to win that game in overtime. You go back to last year, 4-game win streak, all on the road, all tight games that we found a way to pull out. So it is similar to momentum in that you have to make the plays to keep momentum. That same thing of everybody being on the same page. And, I was a huge Magic Johnson fan growing up, and Magic Johnson called it winning time. You play the whole game, and you get to, especially in football, last 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes, that's winning time. That's when your play needs to elevate. Not that you need to break your scheme or do something outside of the scheme or do something outside of yourself or do something superhuman. That's just when you need to be on your best game. And we have faltered there. I'll tell you, earlier in the year, we didn't falter, but we falter in the last couple of games. So for us now, it's about, hey, making sure we're calling the right things, make sure we got everybody in the right position, make sure everybody knows what they're supposed to do, and then get into that tight game and having the confidence and conviction to go out there and finish the game on top.
We'll go back to Dave Kiefer.
Yeah, Coach, I think after the game on Friday, you mentioned the press conference that the team needed to take a couple of days off. I don't know if those were, just the regular scheduled time that you normally would take off, but was there a kind of a need to, maybe take a mental break for everybody to just take a pause and then just kind of restart with kind of a clean slate type thing? Or, did you actually take more time than maybe you would have otherwise for the players or for your staff?
No, it was scheduled. When we play on Friday, we take the players take Saturday and Sunday off. The coaches take Saturday off and get back to work on Sunday. So it's our typical schedule, but we didn't need that. We needed to step away. I did a little bit less on Saturday. I needed to clean my brain out a little bit, to go back and look at that game again and look at the last few games and really look at who we have and how we can help them, to talk to our trainers and see who's up and who's down, so that we can formulate a plan that's not just something that we want to do, but something that is capable, that the guys that are available for this game are capable of doing. That's something that you can't fake it. It's one thing to say, hey, we're going to make all these changes. It depends on who's available, right? Not having Caillou Kelly makes things different. So as we put together the plan with some adjustments and changes, we need to take that into account. Whether or not we have Elijah Higgins and John Humphreys, some things that we would emphasize if they're there that we won't emphasize if they're not there. But at the same time, regardless of who's there are things that we just need to do better, and things that we've needed to tweak outside of those things. So that's what we're working on this week, finding a way to create some momentum, find a way to get our guys excited about some of the adjustments and put them in position so they can go out there and just play fast and physical, play with the love and enjoyment that I know they have inside of them. Let that show on game day, play the game with passion, and once again, get in that fourth quarter and do whatever it takes to come away with a victory.
We'll go back to Troy Clarity.
How much you looking forward to hearing that chainsaw sound effect over and over and over again?
I have a feeling we'll hear it during the course of the week, this week, to get our guys used to it. It's one of those things that you prepare for. It's loud. It is disconcerting. That's why they do it. But it's our job to get our guys ready for that, so that when they hear it on game day, it doesn't distract our jobs, and we can go out there and execute.
Do we have any final questions for Coach Shaw? Okay, thank you very much, Coach.
Thanks, everyone.